What we're gonna do now is flesh this coyote. We're gonna put it on the fleshing beam here, fleshing board. And what we're doing here, I've got the fleshing blade. You're really just scraping away all of the fat, the grease, the muscle, the tendon, whatever may still be on here from the skinning process. You can see that it still does have a lot of the muscle and I guess tendon and stuff that's still on here that we really want to get off. But you're basically just taking your blade and scraping. I don't even use the sharp side. I use the dull side for most everything. And you're really just scraping and pushing all of this stuff away, separating it from the skin. You do want to be careful here. It is easy to rip and tear the skin. You really want to kind of take your time and learn, get a feel, I guess, for the fleshing knife and how it contacts the skin. It is rounded slightly, so it gives you a lot of control, but you have to learn that too. You have to get a feel for it. Now this process, especially on these big animals like these coyotes, this can be a little tiring. It can also be a little frustrating. Just don't let your frustration or your tiredness or your desire to be finished, lead you to make mistakes. If you're feeling that frustration about this process, not going fast enough, or you got so many things to do, whatever, just take a moment and recenter yourself. Take a breath. See this as not a chore to get through, but an opportunity. And really a very powerful opportunity. Prior to earlier today, this thing was living, was breathing, it was experiencing life just as we are. And now here we are working on it, working with it. This is a powerful, sacred experience. And there's no reason to see it as anything other than that. Instead of focusing on the negative aspects, let your mind drift. Ponder this animal, ponder the life that it lived, ponder all of the events that led to this moment, this experience. I don't know about you, but I can easily get lost if you think about just every moment of this animal's life, every moment of your own life, and now how these two lives converge. What are the circumstances that led to this? What is the impact, the lasting impact that this experience could have on you if you let it? Every bit of life on this planet is so interconnected in ways that we rarely even consider. If we stop and consider those things, just think about them a little bit even from time to time, we are much better off as individuals, and then in turn as a people, as a community, as humans, we're much better off to have those among us, who consider that interconnectedness of all things. It's not all just about you, the individual you, the ego that is you. You might discover some things about yourself you never knew. You might discover some things about yourself that you don't like. But again, even that is okay. Once you discover things that you may not necessarily like about yourself, and that's when you can start to take the steps to rectify those things, to improve upon those things, to be more the person that you want to be rather than the person that you've just unquestioningly have always been. And the sooner we learn those things about ourselves, the sooner that we can take our steps to grow, to let certain things fall away. I promise you, we all have things about us that we may not like. We all have aspects of ourselves that, maybe we're not proud of. Maybe we wish we're different. And the first step to growing, to becoming something more is recognizing those things, seeing them for what they are, and pondering what we can do within ourselves to make those changes. And make no mistake, change is always possible. It doesn't matter how old you are, how long you've already been here, how long you've been set in your ways, how tired you may be. Change is possible for everybody. But you have to be willing to put in the work. And a lot of times that work is tough. It's real hard because you got to really take a look at yourself and you got to question yourself. You got to hold yourself accountable. And that is not always an easy thing to do. You can also see this big exit wound around it and some on the belly here. That skin has started to turn green. That's commonly referred to as green belly. My understanding of this, please someone correct me if I'm wrong, is that this is basically the start of decomposition. Decomposition starts in the gut, in the intestines, and all of that stuff in there, and it works its way out. So when you start to see this on the skin, you're starting to be in the area of losing this fur. I think this is probably going to be okay. It's very faintly green. Some of it is scraping off. I think once we salt this and finish the process, it should be okay. But again, I don't know for sure about this stuff. I have very little experience. But again, just because you have little knowledge or little experience doesn't mean that there's not value in what you're doing or what you're sharing. Just because you may not know exactly what you're doing doesn't mean that you can't help someone else do it, that you can't teach someone to do it, that you can't inspire someone to take those steps, to try something new, to try something different, to try something challenging. You don't have to have all the answers before you start trying to figure something out. A lot of the time, the most rewarding aspects of challenging yourself in different ways is discovering those answers for yourself instead of being told what they are, instead of being told what to do, how to live, how to be. Discovering for yourself who you want to be, how you want to live. I think that's what life's all about. I think I'm about done with this.